Okay, YouTube is weird tonight. Just gonna say it. Keep getting messages that the app has crashed. Let me set up the live. Just going over to my iPad since I can't really see the desktop with the new tripod. There we go. Hey, Rita. Now let me set it up on the screen in front of me. Hey, Texas Mopar. Hey, Kathy with a K. This is my second live today. Let me just get the desktop set up. I'm still kind of struggling with the fact that I have the new tripod, which I love. It's so much better than the old one, but it kind of blocks my view of the chat. Hi, Mary. Oh, let me turn down. I wonder if my neighborhood is burning down right now. I've heard fire trucks for like the last 10 minutes. It's like, oh my God, let me move this. Excuse me for the camera bump. Let me switch it to live chat. And I got to do the same on my mobile device. At least it's not my building, but still, it's kind of scary. And then YouTube, it doesn't want to turn on. I'm in California too, up in Placerville. Oh no, to the fire. Yeah, I hope not. I'm in the city. I'm in Los Angeles. And I'm on a busy street. Like this is one of the biggest streets in Los Angeles where I'm on. And I've been hearing fire trucks and like something is going down. I don't know what's going down. And then my green screen, I'm getting weird things behind my head. Turn the ring light a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Still trying to work with the new setup. Hey, 10 people in. Thank you for the thumbs up. Wow, this is we're just getting started here. We're just going to have an open chat tonight about Nancy Guthrie. And if you guys don't already know me, I'm April Davis PI. I'm a licensed California private investigator, and this is a report on Nancy Guthrie missing day number 91. I cannot believe I'm saying that. Wow, 26 people. Welcome in, everybody. Where are you coming in from? Type it in the chat. Hit those red hearts. Smash that like button. You know, I'm still hearing it. You know, if I wasn't on green screen, I'd be tempted just to flip the camera instead of looking at me and see if I can see or smell smoke. This has been going on for a long, long time. Oh, we're not talking about movies. We are talking about Nancy. Just got off work. Welcome in, Will Byers. California refugee here. I've been following the Guthrie case since first week of February. I've been following it since the night it happened. I heard about it late night on February 1st on Sunday. And it was just like, wow, I can't believe it. And I thought this must be connected to Savannah somehow. But, now I'm not so sure. Um, the success of a monetized channel, although yet a small success. Trust me, we're doing better than I was doing a month ago. Brings in all the knuckleheads. If you missed the other one today, I was modding all by myself, and it was just like, oh my God. Uh, yeah, she disappeared without a trace. And it's really bizarre, and I saw this morning, and now it's kind of just now blowing up on the news, is that last night there was a guy wearing dark clothes, apparently a ski mask and a ball cap, although it's hard to see him on video, and he came up in a Ford F-150 truck. At least that's what they said it was. Looks like a dual. Jeez, what is going on in my neighborhood? I'm not just hearing fire trucks now, I'm hearing police cars. It doesn't sound like a high-speed chase. Geez, let me look at my Facebook really quick to see, like, should I be evacuating or barricading the door? Don't see anything yet. Geez, it's probably on my phone, which I don't have access to right now. um. Anyway, oh, Germany, welcome in. I'm part German. So yeah, there was a guy in the neighborhood last night in a dark colored, looked like a dark gray or charcoal gray Ford F-150 extended cab truck, and he had a mask, dark clothes and a ski mask apparently, and he was stealing cacti. But he drove right up into the neighbor's driveway, and this was only like a few blocks from Nancy Guthrie's house. This was in the Catalina foothills, and it was last night. And the guy, right in front of their cameras, he just jumps out of his truck. He's wearing gloves, apparently, but they looked lighter. They didn't look like the same type of gloves that Nancy's front porch guy was wearing. And he just took a bunch of like planters that had cactus in it, but plural cacti, and put them in the truck and drove off. And like, I think it was around 11 or 11:30 at night. It wasn't like in the middle of the night. A guy just okay, now I'm hearing LAPD. Something is going on. Oh my God. And I don't have access to my Ring app when I'm on the air. I just heard the LAPD chopper, and that was definitely them, and they were flying super low. Like, does anybody know what's going on in Los Angeles? Because I'm here, I'm in the middle of this. Like, should I remove the green screen and flip the camera and actually walk out the door, or is it safe to do so? Um, well, my window just looks out into the courtyard. I'd actually have to get up and walk out the lobby. I'm just listening for a moment to see if they're going to circle. Usually everything will pop up on the cell phone and people will be like, "What's going on? Like, what's going on in the neighborhood?" Like, it'll come up on the Ring app, but I can't access the Ring app right now to see what's going on. Oh, oh, geez. We might have some good action going on here, but I'm too busy taking out the knuckleheads. Yeah, so this guy comes up last night and just very boldly drives right up into the Catalina foothills, drives up into somebody's driveway wearing a ski mask, dark clothing, and a ball cap. Doesn't try to hide his vehicle, literally pulls right up and steals the potted cacti out of somebody's driveway. It's just like, is this guy living under a rock and he doesn't realize that everybody and their mother has installed cameras, Nest cams, Ring cams? Everybody's on high alert. The sheriff's department, Pima County Sheriff, they've uh, ramped up the patrols in the neighborhood. Like everybody's like on edge and anxious, and one little noise or the dog acting a little strange, or even the cat, it's gonna, even my bunny, she would be like, "What's up? What's going down?" Like people are on hyper alert right now. And it's not like it was 3 a.m. and everybody was sleeping. This was at a time on a Friday night where a lot of people are probably up and they're watching TV or they're having a late night snack, and people are like, this guy is so bold. Okay. Holy crap. There is I would say half of LAPD has just driven down. Hold on. I don't know if I can take this green screen off now. Let me take it off. Okay, it's off. And you guys pray for my safety. You guys are coming with me. I got to see what's going on. I don't see anything out front. But geez, am I hearing the fire trucks? The fire. Okay, here comes more. Let me flip. Okay, they're going south. I don't see anything north. Let me walk out a little bit. Well, it's to the west of me. It's not on my street. Something's going down, but I am absolutely safe. So let me get back inside. That was crazy. I was almost tempted to get in my car and go chase it and see what's going on. It's very common for fire trucks in Los Angeles, but for that many, for that long, even seems like they're coming from other communities. Sometimes other cities will come and like back us up or something if it's big. So I was like, geez, are they sending the city of Burbank as well? Okay, let me get you going again, you guys. Thanks for letting me go out and check that. Okay, I'll just leave it off the green screen. There we go. The new tripod almost turned off the phone. Have to be very careful with the buttons. Thanks for letting me know, at least, or letting me look. Now I know that it's not on my street, but geez, 53 people. Like I said, I was tempted to just, shut down for a moment, go jump in the car, grab my portable tripods, and go look around for it to see what the heck is going on. But you know what? If something bad is happening, let's just let the emergency vehicles get through. So yeah, I'm safe. I don't know about further to the west, but it didn't seem like a car accident with that many fire trucks. So we're here to chat about Nancy Guthrie. What do we want to talk about? I did a long video yesterday. I did another video earlier today about the old 25, 26-year-old Chandra Levy case, but I want to talk about Nancy Guthrie. What do you think is happening? There's the ghost of Kelsa. Yeah. My cat's named after. There's let's see. Right. Find me. Okay. Uh there's nothing new in the news. And apparently, Robert Whitlow says doesn't seem possible. Um, this is my Wi-Fi mic, Jasmine asked. No, this is a Warner Brothers jersey, just because I've done a lot of work for Warner Animation in my career. Yeah, there's nothing new. And that's just like, there was a report last night again about apparently there's a second missing Nancy Guthrie. So there's our Nancy Guthrie in Tucson in the Catalina foothills. Then there was an 82-year-old Nancy, different last name, that disappeared from the same neighborhood a few weeks ago, but she was found within a day. I guess it was a missing senior alert. And then the sheriff took a lot of crap for it because he put out a picture that said Nancy found, and a big stamp, but it wasn't the same picture. It was a different Nancy. But now they're talking about this. There's this rag sheet, I guess, called the Hindustan Times, is talking about a Nancy that's missing from Colorado, that's in the Boulder County area, and they found an abandoned SUV in Longmont. And a lot of the YouTubers, even some of the ones that I've watched, they seem to be getting that case confused with this case. And someone wrote a really snarky comment because I made a few comments on one of those shorts. And someone made a really snarky comment like, well, if you're a PI, you would know better that this is a different Nancy Guthrie. And I'm like, I'm not following any other Nancy Guthrie cases. I'm following this Nancy. And whoever just made this video, maybe they're confused. Maybe you should enlighten them because the articles keep referring to a disappearance date of March the 12th. And our Nancy, Nancy Guthrie, as in Savannah Guthrie's mom, she disappeared on February the 1st. So does anybody know about this other Nancy Guthrie? Apparently she's a yoga instructor and she's disappeared in Colorado. And I think the reason the two cases are being confused is because at the beginning of this Nancy Guthrie case, it was released that there were some Google searches that were done from Pueblo, Colorado, which is in, I believe, southern Colorado on the New Mexico border. There were several Google searches over the past several months regarding Savannah Guthrie's salary, Nancy Guthrie's address, people looking up, pictures of her house, things like that. And they started thinking, well, maybe, you know, somebody was after her because they were going to, kidnap her for ransom to get money from Savannah. And so a lot of these boots on the ground YouTubers are like, oh, they ought to be looking in Pueblo, Colorado. And now this other supposed Nancy Guthrie case has blown up in Boulder County with the Boulder County sheriffs because of a missing or an abandoned SUV found in Longmont, where they claim they found the fitness tracker. But that's not the same Nancy, apparently. Just disregard anything about this case that you hear or read on, rag sheets like the Hindu something times. Like, oh gosh. I saw this guy earlier. Oh my God. Um, yeah, she is in her 20s, that woman, the one in Colorado. There is nothing about what is happening in your city. Okay. I'm sure I'll find out as soon as I go off the air what it was, and I'll pin a comment on this video afterwards. Jason Bender. Nancy Pelosi, what happened to her? Inquiring minds want to know. Thank you. Mr. Marvin says, oh gosh, yeah, probably responding to all these knuckleheads. Uh the late night creepers are out. But thank you for the engagement. The clicks help. There's a guy that is one of my mods in here, Kermudge in Alaska. Cool dude, but he doesn't have a lot of time to come in to my chat. And, because he's too busy with his own YouTube channel and, working on the homestead, and it's starting to warm up there. So they got a lot of spring and summer projects to start. But he said that there's a guy that comes in and harasses him in his lives. And he actually sends a super chat just so he can take a swipe at him, but he'll send him a super chat, send him money, and then say something bad or negative. And he just laughs about it. So for all these people that are, taking the time to click and send these weird messages, just send a super chat, or it won't even cost you. Why don't you send me one of your gifts? One of those jewels? Yesterday, I didn't get any super chats, but I got enough jewels that I had a pretty good day. And it was a new month, so I was like, wow, I should ask for those more often. But we're here to talk about Nancy Guthrie. And not Nancy Guthrie, the yoga instructor from Colorado, but Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mom, who was, apparently abducted from her bed in the middle of the night or early Sunday morning, February the 1st, missing now for 91 days. And apparently not a lot of new clues coming in, not a lot of new information coming in. Her neighborhood got hit by a cacti burglar last night that was a masked man who showed up in a Ford F-150 truck. That's what they claimed it was. It looked like a Ford to me, but it was really big for an F-150, but maybe the new ones are bigger now. I thought that was very bold. If he got caught, like, how much time is he going to get for stealing a couple of potted plants? It takes all types, but especially with what's going on in that neighborhood, everybody's on hyper alert. Like, that guy could get himself shot just to go steal a cactus. Um, Arizona Desert Walker. April, there is a Jaws exhibition at the Academy Museum, and those May Day rallies plus Taco Man is soon. 1200 drone Harry Potter light show. I've heard about the Jaws exhibition at the Academy Museum, but I don't know what you're talking about. 1200 drones Harry Potter light show. That would be interesting. That's all you saw. Okay. Well, let's focus on Nancy here for a moment. Where do we think she is? Is she going to be found? I don't think she's with the living anymore. I think she probably passed within 24 to 48 hours if she even lasted that long. And I'm sorry, I hope, Savannah's not listening to this. But if she is, I'm a really good PI and I'd be happy to consult with you on the case. Just contact me. Um, yeah, like there's like how many more days can we do this? Unless there's some breaking news. I mean, we're still waiting for the FBI to get the DNA from that rootless hair sample that's now been forwarded to the lab in San Francisco. It was wasted. We wasted, or the Pima County wasted 12 weeks of this investigation with that hair sample in Florida at the private lab, and they got absolutely nothing. It should have been within the hands of the FBI from the very beginning, and then, if they couldn't retrieve anything, they could then forward it to this lab in San Francisco that they like to use now. But, we lost 12 weeks on this already. And God forbid she's just laying out in the desert somewhere. By the time they're ready to go out and search, there may not be anything left to find. I worry about the heat and the monsoon season coming. I can't imagine that if she unexpectedly passed and really was it possibly a real kidnapping? Because I've never really thought that it was, but maybe it was, and everything went haywire, then they would have had to, you know, get rid of her quickly. And it's not that easy to dig a hole out in the desert, The ground is rock hard and dry and um but it's a big desert. It's a big desert. I'm sure it looks a lot bigger in person than it does on television or, aerial shots like Google Earth. Like it would just be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But let's hope that the United Cajun Navy gets their request to come back or to come into this case. Um, Arizona Desert Walker says June 13th is the next Harry drone or the next Harry Potter drone event. Oh, it's coming to Dodger Stadium. And none of us Angelinos, nobody that's a Dodger fan uses that new Uniqlo field name. It's ridiculous. But it's all about the money now. And they're losing right now. They haven't figured out yet. And it's taken 2 years to figure out that Sasaki is not a starting pitcher. So, you know, people go, oh, it's early, but every game counts. Oh, no problem. Hi, Sassy. Welcome back. This is just an open chat tonight about Nancy Guthrie. Oh, that's interesting. The real Scuba Steve. Welcome in, Steve. Hey, go to Google Maps, go to Street View, zoom in on Nancy's windows. Back in February 2022, they're different now. 9 panes then, 6 panes now, possibly new doors too. Yeah, maybe she had some work done on the house. The real Scuba Steve says whoever fitted them would have spare keys and know the complete layout of the house. Yeah, I don't know if they would have a key, but there's always a possibility that it was a contractor that came in and, that's on a long list of suspects. Arizona Desert Walker. Yesterday they said Pima County Sheriff put a statement out. Well, it must not have been much of one. What did he say? We don't know anything. My contractors never had spare keys. Real Scuba Steve. When I lived in the Studio City townhouse in the Brady Bunch neighborhood, never seen that angle discussed yet. Well, I've said from the very beginning that if it's not the Savannah factor, that is somebody close to her, such as family, friends, a neighbor, a contractor, a pool man, a landscaper, someone who did work on the house, a housekeeper, a caregiver. Now, from what I'm hearing, though, the only caregivers were Annie and Tommaso. Yeah, I've talked about it a lot. You must be new to my channel. Go to the long form content video tab and see my list of suspects. And they're not shown in any particular order, just the order that um, these actors or characters became known in the case to the public. But yeah, it could any that happens all the time where it's like somebody that you let into your home. You know, the John Benet Ramsey case, which I'm not going to go into deep details here, it is connected to someone that they brought inside their home. And that's all I'm going to say. The Elizabeth Smart case, it happened because the mother, once again, brought somebody she shouldn't have inside their home. Um, you get spare keys for most new doors, and if they fitted the locks and there was no sign of forced entry, spare key is a possibility. But yes, new here. Oh, I thought you were referring to the windows. Possible. Anything is possible. Everything is a possibility, whether it's a great possibility or it's a slim possibility. But I still stick with my original two thoughts. It's either connected to Savannah because she was Savannah Guthrie's mom and is somebody targeting Savannah or targeting her for money, or it's like most abductions, kidnappings, and or unalivings. It's somebody close to you, whether that be a relative, someone she went to church with, a neighbor, a contractor, a vendor, a utility worker. No, if they fitted new doors, most often than not, you fit new doors. My family has always did that. Okay. I thought you were talking about the windows, but maybe she got new doors. That's a possibility. You fit new doors, you generally fit new windows. Anything's possible. Still don't know why front porch guy was at the front porch. I mean, if somebody had a key and they just came in through the back, that person could just come and open the front door. The other one who got the new doors in the cul-de-sac area. Yeah, I know about the house across the street, which is actually further than across the street, but they always say it's the house across the street. It's the house at the end of the cul-de-sac. We've had many videos on that, and the owners and the lady that now got it for $10 from her parents, and but she doesn't actually live there, and she's got the contractors and handymen that have been coming up regularly from Mexico since she acquired ownership of the house, but she's never lived there. And a lot of the neighbors were suspicious of some of the characters up there and said they saw weird stuff and they heard screams and somebody was laying concrete for a pool or a walkway, like a concrete walkway around the pool, and then supposedly they disappeared, but there's contradictions on, did they disappear before this happened, after it happened, the night it happened? All the lights were on. There was flashing lights that looked like it was coming from that house, to signal the guy at the door. There's all kinds of conjecture on that. You need to go to the Nancy Guthrie playlist and just hit play all. Just either go from the most recent down or the oldest one up, however you want to do it. Um, It could be anything, could be anybody, but everything is open to discussion here. Everybody here on my channel that we discuss is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And now I'm getting this. Why am I getting this thing blinking at me? Hold on, people. Luckily, I brought the iPad tonight because it's just too hard to see around this new tripod and see the desktop. Let me look at it on the screen. Oh, it's asking me. Well, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to change it up. Instead of the super chats, I'm going to change the goal to. Come on. Oh, this is weird. Boy, are they having problems tonight? YouTube, I couldn't even, it took me 20 minutes to get the start button to start tonight. And then I keep getting messages that YouTube has crashed. And would I like to make a report? There we go. That drives me crazy. We're not talking politics, but no, I'm not woke. The real Scuba Steve. Reasons for being at front door acting like they didn't have a spare key to throw the scent, so to speak, as in perp didn't have a spare key and possibly drop evidence as a distraction. Like I said, anything is possible. Mark. Hello, Mark. Where are you coming in from? Arizona Desert Walker says, I need to wake up. I gotta fix that. Oh, too many tasks to do at once. Yeah, everything is possible, but that article that I referred to the other day in the Hindustan Times that I was like, I don't think that's legit. That apparently is regarding the other Nancy Guthrie that's in Colorado. There's just so much misinformation out there, especially when in the same neighborhood a few weeks ago, there was an 82-year-old woman, also named Nancy, also lived in the Catalina foothills, was a missing senior, but she was found the same day. My animals, thankfully, are sleeping right now. The rabbit, she always takes her after dinner nap before she's up for the rest of the night. Kelsa was in a timeout earlier because she was harassing the rabbit who was, getting ready to have dinner. She doesn't hurt her, but she can be a pain. But they're good. They're healthy. They're happy. Thank you for asking, Will. I just wish we had some new information to talk about. I did a really good video yesterday on this because I had listened to a live stream the night before, part of it, and it was hysterical. And it was by one of the larger YouTubers who's been boots on the ground, and he had a panel on. And there was this lady that came on, and you have to see yesterday's video. It was so funny. Some of the the stuff that gets out there that's, proposed that, well, it didn't happen this way, but it happened that way. And it's like, it's good for everybody to just kind of chill and relax and every now and then have a laugh about this. But this is a very serious matter. You saw it, Lady Shore. Oh, God. I hope Savannah's not seeing that. Good night, Will Byers. Oh, my gosh. Like, I just can't even. After last night's video, I watched that back and I even was like laughing again just thinking about it. Oh, oh, geez. Very bad people in here tonight. Most of you guys are good though. I've been getting crap from this guy for this is my free Disney cap that a neighbor gave me on one of those buy nothing lists, and I won it out of a draw. And people are like, "Oh, I love that hat." So it's not as comfortable as my other more worn in hats, but I wear it sometimes for my lives. And oh my God, crazy. And before anybody comes in here tonight and decides to harass me about my dental work, go to the Amazon wish list and there'll be some items that you might be interested in purchasing for me. Just saying. Oh gosh. And earlier on the first show today, I already thanked everybody that there was somebody that became a member yesterday and someone that sent a couple of gifts, and she was in the first chat as well. So I covered that. I covered the housekeeping part of the channel. Oh, thank you, Lady Shore. That's funny because after some of these lives, I go into the mirror and I check and I'm like, no, everything looks good. I've actually spent a lot of money this past month, the month of April, just, doing maintenance on my teeth. It would really piss off my parents if they were still alive because, geez, did they spend a lot of money on dental bills? And I've spent a lot of money in my adult life, and I've been on my own since I was 18. So I spent a lot of money on eye care, health care, and dental care. But yeah, if you didn't see yesterday's video, that's got about like almost 3,000 views now. I think it's like it just did really well. Hey, Jay, welcome in, a channel member. Oh, it's just people that don't have anything better to do. It doesn't really bother me. I'm a detective, so I have to have a very thick skin. And after I go off the air tonight, I will check the local apps, like the Ring app and the neighborhood app, to see what was going on that caused all those fire trucks and police cars and helicopters to be flying over. Because that was a massive response, whatever happened. And you know what? Also, I wanted to mention, I don't know what's going on, but I had started receiving the baseball mail, like even before the season started. I was getting the baseball mail, and I received mail from 8 teams, and now there's just like nada. And that's so weird. And I'm wondering if like one of the mail carriers or the mail sorters in the local post office, if they're seeing the return addresses and there's like packages and they're like taking them, because it's really weird out of 30 teams that I've only heard from 8. It's just like I'm getting suspicious the longer it goes because those are being sent to my house, at least, well, most of them they should be, if they're using the self-addressed stamped envelope or they're using the address from the self-addressed stamped envelope. For some reason, the Cincinnati Reds sent to my business address, which is fine, but uh, all that's just gone quiet lately. Lady Shore says, "Indeed." I wish somebody had something to report here. I don't want to just sit on the air and talk if there's nothing new to talk about. Like, I mean, I have looked up every single thing and I've followed other YouTubers. I'm spending too many hours of my day on this case. I'm so vested in this. I'm so interested in the outcome, and I don't want to miss the latest news. But I felt that way when MH370 happened, and I'd wake up, every few hours in the middle of the night to check to see what was going on. Did they find the plane? And you know, that was 2014. Now it's 2026. It's 12 years later. I wish there was something new, Jay. I know, Barbara. And the Yankees have my Cody Bellinger from the Dodgers, but the Dodgers and Cody, they sort of had a divorce. It wasn't pretty, but I always pull for him, because once a Dodger, always a Dodger. Lady Shore says, I don't know of any news. I checked as well. Yeah. The only thing that happened last night in the Catalina foothills was the cacti burglar. And he was wearing a mask. That's what was creepy about it. Like, you're actually gonna put a mask on and dark clothing and gloves and cover up with a hat, but yet pull your car right up into the view of cameras. Like, what was that about? And that was an expensive truck. That wasn't a cheap truck. That was somebody with an expensive truck. And they're stealing what, $20 worth of cacti? Like they could get themselves shot because the neighborhood's on high alert and the cops are everywhere patrolling that neighborhood. This was a couple blocks from her house, reportedly. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Probably just a copycat. I thought that too. Maybe it was for attention. Maybe the guy wanted to be on film. Well, yeah, since this happened, there's been a lot of forced entry robberies or burglaries in Los Angeles with men wearing masks. And it's like everywhere right now. There's a run on ski masks. I always call them bank robber masks. You don't usually see those masks too often, but I guess, we're in bad economic times. And so things have just gone haywire lately. That seems to be the disguise now. I know. And I was wondering, is it just me that I'm noticing it more because of the Nancy Guthrie case? Or is that type of crime really amping up now? It is crazy. Hey, Barbara Selleck, welcome in. Where are you coming in from, Barbara? Well, publicly, there's not a suspect. Lady Shore says, I still find it very strange that there is not a suspect. Me too. But maybe, obviously the FBI, they're not going to, make statements about it. And remember what I reported yesterday about the property tax situation. That doesn't mean that person is a suspect, but that confirms some of the rumors that some people that are on the list, at least in people's minds, that there is somebody involved in this story, this cast of characters or actors that is obviously having financial difficulties. And that is somebody close to the victim. Barbara, you're in upstate New York. Well, welcome in. Could be one, but all back channel. What does that mean, but all back channel? I think it's more than one. I think this is an operation. There's a mastermind, and then there's just the lackeys. That's not public. Oh, you've been here. Okay. Did I miss you, Barbara, during all that? I had to run out the door to see why I heard a LAPD helicopter and fire trucks for like 15 minutes and police cars. Didn't happen on my street though. But something happened. I'll research it when I go off the air and I'll pin it in the comments so we'll know what happened, just in case you're curious. But everybody's safe here. Didn't wake up my animals. They're fine. They're used to it. This is a big city. There's always helicopters and sirens. It's not as bad as Manhattan as far as the noise level, but LA is a pretty noisy city now. It's only peaceful like in the middle of the night. And that's when I'm wired and I'm wide awake and I'm trying to get to sleep, the middle of the night. Yeah, maybe the full moon last night brought out the cacti burglar. Um, My family keeps asking how come you have a picture of me, the frame behind you. We watch you on 75-inch TV. The picture behind me of the lady in pink, that's Kelsa Kinsley. My cat was named after her, and she is deceased. But hey, if you look like her, send me a picture. aprildavispi@gmail.com. They didn't say, but it was several. That's why they said cacti rather than cactus. And it was in like a planter. And the guy just pulled up right in front of all their cameras and got out of a pickup truck, a very expensive truck, wearing all black and a ski mask and apparently a cap. But it's hard to see because the footage was really grainy because it was dark. But you can see the guy lifting the planters and putting them in the truck. Maybe once, twice a week, Nancy follow-ups and moving on for a while. I don't know what to say at this point. Not that I don't support Search for Nancy. Yeah, I know. I need to get out and make some long form content videos. But people, when I don't come on, they're like emailing me, like, "Are you okay? And are you coming on live today? And are we going to talk about Miss Nancy?" Like, and that's great, but possible peyote cactus is a plant medicine. Didn't know that. It's just weird that it would happen in the Catalina foothills by a masked man when every single household is on high alert and they have extra police patrols. So if somebody did see something through their camera coming onto their driveway and they called 911, they might be able to get a cop on that person really quick. Oh, Roger, welcome in, Roger. Another streamer recommended this channel to his viewers. His name is Lou Sassol. Am I pronouncing that right? I've never heard of Lou Sassol. Is that the name of his channel? I look like your greenhouse teacher. I'll have to look up that name, Lou Sassol. Or is it Sassol or Sassoli? Well, thank you, Lou. Yeah, I'm wondering that too, Arizona Desert Walker. Is that something I'm supposed to read between the lines on and understand? We're just here to talk about Nancy Guthrie. If you didn't see yesterday's video, that one was actually a really good video on this, and it got a lot of views, not only while I was on the air, but as soon as I went off the air. I'm hearing a bunch of people in the lobby. I don't know what is going on here tonight. I even closed the window because I thought if I had to use my horn, since it's Saturday night, I didn't want to bother the neighbors, but I only had to use it once today, and that was in the earlier video. Someone, Quentin, sent me a $2 super chat in the last video. Love the horn. Yeah, you know what? Now that my first YouTube check is coming, sometime between May 21st and May 26th, I'll actually be able to pay for the horn and I'll be able to pay for the replacement ring light. Oh, and the mics that I had to replace. And pay myself back for the pickup fees at the mailbox, which I'm not complaining about that. Somebody sent over like $300 worth of items. Well, it wasn't just one person, it was several people, but wow, that makes a huge difference for me. So thank you, everybody. So tired, honestly, I don't remember if I watched it or not. It's the one about how on Thursday night I came across a big YouTuber and he was having like a live panel discussion and there was some older lady on there. I won't name her. She only went by a first name. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her before in my life. But I think she was local to Arizona and she was elderly and she brought in the whole turkey baster story. You'll have to see it. It's just like Oh my god, you know? And she seemed like a nice lady too, like and nobody interrupted her, not even the channel host, you know? Everybody just sat there and listened, but then she went off on some other weird stuff, and finally, some of the other chat members or panel members had to say, "Well, hold on, like, time out, like, that's already been disproven, that's not true," but nobody challenged her on her turkey baster theory, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go see that video. And you don't have to watch the whole thing, you can just watch up until that point, and it's like, I can't make this stuff up, people. Lady Shore says, "So very nice." What, the video? Country Roads with Michelle, welcome in. Where is Nancy? Gosh, I wish I knew that. The $64,000 question. Or I really should say the $1.2 million question. I could sure use a part of that cash. I wish I knew. Yeah, she was something else. She was Lady Shore. You gotta see it. If you didn't, I think you were here, Jay. Were you here last night? Did you see that? The lady um that said about the turkey baster? Oh my god. What about the gifts I received? I received some gifts through the YouTube wish list, which is in the channel description on the main channel page. Just click the bio, click the link, scroll down to the bottom, and you can see the YouTube wish list store. Um, that was very nice. Yeah, I've got some Puma shoes, some Puma socks. Thanks to Sue, ginger ale from Australia. From It's brewed in Australia. So it's not cheap to get this. And they always have it sold out at my local Vons. So she sent me two 4-packs of that. You did not hear her talking, but I heard about it in your channel. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I literally almost fell out of my chair. And it's nice with all this. This is such a downer case to have an occasional laugh. Even some of these other YouTubers that people rag on, I really enjoy watching them because some of it is just it's silly, it's entertainment. They're professional YouTubers, unlike myself, who's just, about to receive my first check since remonetization. But, when I say professional, I mean people that do this for a living, and they have to be entertaining to keep an audience. And, I don't have time to watch all these people all the time. I can't even watch my regular YouTubers that I watch anymore now that I'm doing, these lives every day. You must have missed the turkey last night. Just go back to last night's live. It's kind of towards the beginning. You don't have to watch through that much of the video to get into the part where you'll hear about the turkey baster. And that's all I'm going to say. Not going to tell the story again, but watch that video. Yeah, a certain type of personality is also required. Absolutely. There's a guy I watch back east in my birth state, and he's actually from Ireland. And his dad was like a really famous comedian in Ireland and an actor. And this kid's got talent, and but he's a recovering addict or alcoholic. Not, I don't think it's drugs. It's just I think it's alcohol. And I started watching him from the beginning, and his channel just has blown up huge. But the guy keeps falling off the wagon and, like, having problems and saying that he can't do it anymore, and people are like, "Come back, come back." People are begging him for videos, and he's so messed up. And I remember seeing a live where he came on a short, like, but he came on, like, a vertical live, and he was intoxicated, and he had, like, something spilled all over his shirt, and I was like, "Oh, no." And, most of his incidents happen off camera, but people are like, are they rooting for him or are they hoping that he fails again and he falls off the wagon? Like they they just keep he's built up to like, oh, I can't even imagine. Maybe it's 40 or 50,000 subscribers. It could be more by now. And I was watching him when he had like probably less than 5,000. And it's soared. But the guy, he's got a great personality, and you know, he's enjoyable to watch. He's entertaining. but he keeps shooting himself in the foot, with his issues. Texas Diane says, I came in after that, then I was late. Yeah, it's more towards the beginning. Yeah, it is sad, Lady Shore. And I'm hoping that his videos come back on because he's so entertaining. I'm not that creative. I'm a detective. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Well, I don't know how much further I can carry this. Um, how many minutes do we have left on the goal? 5 minutes and 33 seconds. I think I'm just going to let that clock run out for the gifts, for the jewels, and then I'm going to turn it off. If anything breaks, I'll be happy to come back on, but I just don't expect us to hear anything until they at least get some information. Well, hopefully they get information about this DNA sample that's now, at this other lab. I still the person that I dropped a dime on with the FBI twice, I still think that that person is one of the lackeys involved in this. Lady Shore says, haha, love the detectives. I hope something happens. Like, poor Savannah. It's 91 days and she still doesn't have any answers. They may not even release DNA info. Exactly. We need some good ones in this case. Hopefully, Savannah has some very capable PIs on this. Barbara says it's heartbreaking. It is. You know, I don't think Cameron is involved at all, but he's kind of been in the background in this case. I guess Monday I'll have to check the Pima County Treasurer's office to see if the property taxes on Annie Tomaso's end have been paid yet, because they are in delinquency now. Well, they wouldn't talk about it. If I were working the case, I wouldn't tell you. But I'm not. But if I were, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. Jay says that way they can tiptoe in closer quietly. When will the sheriff be gone? They're saying maybe this month, but apparently it's pretty hard to get someone who's an elected official out of office. Yeah, poor Cameron too. Yeah, the whole Guthrie family. And especially Annie Tomaso if they're not involved, which they may not be. Remember, everybody here that we talk about is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And obviously, the rumors that they might be having financial problems, that could be true based on what I reported yesterday. But a lot of people are in financial problems right now. They're a little busy, you know, dealing with this situation. I got to give Savannah kudos though. She is putting up a brave front, probably for her kids, and she's doing her job now on the Today Show with a smile. But it's hard. It's hard for me to think about that. That how do you just move on? When you don't know. Oh, you can't curse here, James. There you go. Well, thanks for the clicks, James. Never could be at work. No, yeah. I mean, my mom lived in another state, when she passed, and I was sick at the same time with the same ailment. But she's, old enough to be my mother and was my mom, and she passed and I didn't, and we were both sick at the same time. But if my sister called me one day and said, "Hey, mom is gone and we don't know where she is," that would be a horrible feeling. Barbara, welcome in. What is the latest on Nancy Guthrie? We don't have a latest, but I did a video yesterday that I think you would enjoy if you watched yesterday's video. It's good to see you, Barbara. It has to be very hard for Savannah to go to work every day. I agree, Jay. And to put up a brave front for her kids. And we still don't know if the rumors about, her marriage are true. Like, it's just been a really sucky year for her. In January, she had some surgery, I believe. Then they had the mother's birthday, the end of January. Nancy lost her dog, apparently the end of December. Then all this happened. Of course, my year didn't start out so well either. I had a major surgery, a second heart procedure, and then a more minor kidney procedure, which I was really nervous about, but the nurses at the hospital said that'll be a walk in the park compared to what you're going through with your heart, and they were right. Lady Shore, I would be searching, talking, using my platform to speak about my mother instead of working. She certainly can afford not to. She's a millionaire, and I'd be in Tucson with my kids. I think her mother would want her to return to her life, though. And maybe that's why she did return, for the sake of the kids, because that's where they live and that's where they go to school, and to have some sort of normalcy for the kids. Thank you, Lady Shore. It's the prayers that have kept me alive. And those don't cost anything. But yeah, she's got enough money where she could live the rest of her life, I'm sure. But, her husband, I'm sure, has a job and she has her job. And, I am from Los Angeles, Jacob. The kids have their lives and their friends. And this has been very disruptive to everybody's life. Cameron was out here and maybe his wife was with him or wasn't with him. And they've got their two children. Savannah's got her two children. Annie and Tommaso apparently have a son between them, from what I'm hearing. I'm wondering if she could have an older child from her first marriage, because she's known as Annie Pierce, but I don't know if she has a child from her first marriage. Yeah, Lady Shore says that's how strongly I feel about that. In my opinion, my mom is my world. Yeah, I don't know how I could deal with something like that. Like, if it's one thing to lose your parents in older age, but it's another thing if one day they just disappeared. I mean, I'd be like lost if my close friends just like disappeared and nobody knew where they went. It just, there's certain things you never get over. I just don't think she's ever gonna, be able to lead a normal life, so to speak. We've got to find Nancy. We've got to keep this relevant. It is sad all the way around, Lady Shore. Barbara says, I'll be happy to pray for you as well as praying for the Guthries. Thank you, Barbara. I'm still here. I have a very close friend that is my age, just she's a few months older than me, and she's suffering from the same illness that I suffered from, and she's in the hospital this week, so I'm just saying extra prayers for her. Jay says, my mom died about 2 months after moving in with me. We were teasing each other that morning when I walked her to the dialysis pickup bus. She died in the dialysis chair. Oh my gosh. What an awful thing, Jay. I'm sorry. Will they ever find Nancy? You know what? That's a very good question. I hope so. The neighbor who got the mail for Brian Enton recently met with one of the FBI special agents, and she said the FBI is working very hard on this case. Yeah, prayers for you, Jay. I hope that she's in a better place, and I believe that she is. I have an older elderly client from the past that's in dialysis now, and he's in his 90s, and it's very, very tough. Yeah, everybody here's got something, and we're all here to lift each other up and support each other. I've made so many new friends and new subscribers, new channel followers. Like, it's been great, but I hate to have done it at the expense of this case. I would much rather, have seen that this never happened, or that she's been found and she's safe and she's alive and she's back with her family, because I don't think this case is going to end well, and I don't think it's meant to be that we're never going to know what happened. That's the worst of the worst if this has happened and we're never going to know. It's like that plane MH370. Not knowing is the worst. Arcturian Prince said she is definitely deceased. I think so. Like 99.99%. So I think, just because I have a wee bit of hope. It's just awful. Well, everybody, thank you for coming. Like I said, if anything breaks, I'll be happy to come back on the air. Hello, Dawn. I'm just going off. Hi, V Miss. Kate McDougal. I'm going to smoke some. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, good thing I was on long enough to take her out. Yeah, I've done 2 videos today, Dawn, but there's not a lot of new news on Nancy. But I had a really good video last night about her. It's there's actually a few comical moments in that video. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video, everybody go watch it. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you.